we got a question on our Facebook page, and which is
There's, uh, it's like I always dream to have a friend in my life. I feel bad when I see everyone having a friend. I wish I had a best buddy too. Someone who can understand me without me saying a word. I'm depressed because I haven't found anyone like this.
I understand your problem, and it is a real problem. Friendship, I consider is one of the pillars of life. Like, we say we need money, we need good health, we need a family, we need a good career, of course, money, career. And I consider friendship just as big as these things. That's how important I think it is. I've had a lot of friends, like I'm 26 right now, and in this life, I've had a lot of friends, but majority of them I have dropped because friendships are really hard to build. I made a video on friendship in which the major point that I was covering was like responsibility is one of the biggest quality in friendship. Like that was one video and I could only cover one quality. If I had to conclude that, I would say there are several qualities which you have to have in a friend. So friendship is not just child's play. It just doesn't happen by accident or anything. This is something that you actually need preparation for. Have you ever thought about that? It seems like a crazy idea, right? Like training to be a good friend. Have you ever thought of it? Have you ever heard about this? But just like any other thing, being a good friend in itself is a skill.
It needs certain qualities.
Yeah, of course. There are so many qualities that you have to be a good friend. So maybe if you don't have a friend, if you don't have a good friend in life, there is a big possibility that you probably don't have those qualities. It's a big possibility that you don't know what it takes to be a good friend. Maybe you are dropped by other people over and over and you're not realizing what's happening. You're just thinking that you're supposed to have a good friend. You're supposed to enjoy a friendship, like life is like you deserve it, and there is no such thing as that. You don't deserve anything. You have to earn it. So it may come as a sad news to you, but there is a possibility that you probably aren't fit for friendship. But since you're talking to me, since you have asked me the problem and I'm talking to you, the good news is that everything can be learned. Like I said, it's a skill. So just like any other skill, this skill can be learned too. So instead of just blaming the world or blaming the universe for your loneliness, for your lack of friends, first focus on yourself. You do meet people. You live in a world, we are social animals, we live in a community, we have people around us wherever we go. So if you are not able to turn those connections into friendships, there could be a lot of things wrong with you. When I say wrong, I just mean lack of friendship qualities. Some of them are like responsibility. Are you a responsible friend? Other things like, when people say, who's a good friend? A person who helps you in need, who's there with you in need is a good friend. But I'd like to make an addition. A person who's also there with you for fun. Yes. Just because you got into a fight and somebody came to rescue you doesn't mean he has all the good qualities of a friendship. Because it rarely happens that you actually need a friend in troubled times. Most of the time, friendship is required for the fun parts. So, like I just named 3 qualities: a friend in need, a friend for fun, then responsibility, and so on. So you can learn them one by one. Again, that's not easy either, but that's the only process. So my first suggestion to you would be, first become that person who is a good friend. And the second thing that I would like to mention here is, don't feel that you are alone. Because friendship requires some very basic qualities, most don't have them. So this is why good friendships are actually rare. So, that might make your misery a little less painful when you know that you're not alone. And most of the friendships that you see around yourself are hollow. When I say hollow, I mean those friendships are filled with conflicts, unmet expectations, and insecurities, and in fact, you know, constant breakups. When you see groups around you, when you see friends, when you see two people close to each other, you only see the good parts, usually on Facebook, social media, or wherever. But you don't know the behind the scenes. You don't know what's happening in their lives, how unfulfilled, how dissatisfied they are with that friendship. There is this constant need for being first, being wanted, being loved, just like you mentioned, like somebody who can understand you. And that never happens. You think the friendships that are existing right now around you, do you think they understand each other?
Any two people understanding each other.
Yeah, that's a rarity. Now, there is a pain of loneliness, and there is a pain of being lonely in loneliness. Do you get that? So, at least one thing can be dealt with right away. One thing can be eliminated right away. Yes, you are lonely right now because you have no friends, but in that loneliness, you are not alone. There are millions like yourself. Even the people who are in a group, even the people who look like they are in the coolest groups, even the people who look like they have their best friends, even they feel so lonely at times, because understanding somebody is almost a non-existent phenomenon. It just doesn't exist. As friendships get better, expectations go higher. So the internal satisfaction that you got from a friendship when you started, now you don't get it because the expectations are much higher, and when they are not met, the friend is dissatisfied again. So the final result is dissatisfaction most of the times. Yes, there are highs, yes, there are the times of fun, but you need to see the other side too. Because right now you're just focusing on the fun sides of friendship. Okay? I'm trying to enlighten you to this darker side, because then you'll at least know what you are wishing for, then at least know what you are actually missing. So in this video, there are only two things that you can make use of. I will just conclude that first, you are not lonely, you are not alone. Good friendships are a rarity. And if you do find a good friend, find yourself very, very lucky. Okay? Yes. If you see a friendship, if you see a real friendship, if there is a friendship, a long-term one which goes on for years and years without any fights and which is fulfilling also, they are really a very small percentage. Okay? So that's the first point, that you are not alone. And the second would be, if that's a real problem for you, which it is, because we all need good friends, start with yourself. Okay? Learn about friendship first. Become a good friend first, before expecting others to befriend you. Okay? And for that, you can learn on your own, and you can of course learn from me, but that is very important. I'm just guessing here that you have made some friends in your life, but you lost those friendships, because I think it's safe to say that you must have connected to some people, of course. It's not like you haven't made any connections at all. But the problem was that you lost them. And you don't know why. Most of the time you're just blaming others, and most of the time you're just blaming the situation. But you never blame yourself.
You think you have been a good friend always?
Yeah, you just always assume that you are the good friend. You just naturally assume that you have good friendship qualities. In my experience, 80%, 85, even 90% people, 85% people, they don't have the qualities, they don't have the friendship qualities for a long-term connection, for a long-term relationship. Okay? So, you're probably one of those. But you can learn, and you can become a good friend. So, that's it. These answers are not complete solutions. If you are unhappy with your life, which I know you are, and if you have real problems, which I know you do, start taking counseling. Invest your time and money in counseling. Find a good psychologist or a really good counselor, or else come to me. I am the best of all. But always remember, be proud of taking counseling. It's the smartest thing to do.
And yeah, don't forget to subscribe unless you want to die unhappy.